Hey iKids friends, I hope you had a great week. Today, we are starting a new series called Genesis Museum. Together, we are going to explore how God is the creator of all things. But first, let's worship together. Get up and dance with me.
Anytime a heart turns from darkness to light, anytime temptation comes and someone stands to fight, anytime somebody lives to serve and not be served, I know God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move in many mighty ways. God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move today. Anytime in weakness someone falls upon their knees or dares to speak the truth that sets men free, anytime the choice is made to stand upon the word, I know God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move in many mighty ways. God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move today. I see a generation standing on the truth in each and every nation. God is on the move. Anytime the gospel stirs a searching soul, and someone says, "Send me, here I go." I know. God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move in many mighty ways. God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move today. God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move in many mighty ways. God is on the move, hallelujah. God is on the move today. I see a generation standing on the truth in each and every nation. God is on the move.
All right, welcome back. That was some great singing and dancing that you just did. Today, we're going to start talking about museums. Museums are some of the most fascinating places to visit. We can go around the world and learn about other places, about science, about art, about history, just by going and visiting a museum. You can learn about just anything you can imagine. There are museums dedicated to almost every subject you can think of. There are art museums full of priceless treasures, wax museums full of statues, lifelike. Maybe some of your favorite stars are in a wax museum, like SpongeBob. You can go to museums filled with dinosaurs or history or priceless artifacts from everywhere. There's even a Spam museum. Yeah, who eats Spam? It's in Minnesota. Every museum has a purpose, and behind that purpose is a founder, someone who started it. If you were going to start a museum, what would you want it to be about? One of the most famous museums has a founder that wasn't even from this country. His name was James Smithson. And Smithson, he was born in France, and he moved to England where he became a citizen of England. He was a chemist by trade, and he became extremely wealthy. But Smithson never got married, and he didn't have any children. And so he had nobody to leave his estate to. Smithson asked that his entire fortune be committed to founding an educational institution in Washington, D.C., here in the United States. And even though he never visited the United States, he became the founder of a series of museums we know as the Smithsonian's. So as we begin our series today, we're going to meet the founder of all creation. So I want you to grab your Bible. Yes, go ahead, get it out, and we're going to read Genesis chapter 1 with my friends and your friends, Addie and Emma Grace. Let's listen to them.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless, and empty darkness covered the surface of the water depths, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. There was an evening and there was a morning, one day. Then God said, "Let there be an expanse between the water, separating water from water." So God had the expanse and separated the water under the expanse from the water above the expanse. And it was so. God called the expanse sky. Evening came and then morning, the second day. Then God said, "Let the water under the sky be gathered into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the gathering of the water he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and fruit trees on the earth bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds." And it was so. The earth produced vegetation, seed-bearing plants according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed in it according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. Evening came and then morning, the third day. Then God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night. They will serve as signs for seasons and for days and years. There will be lights in the expanse of the sky to provide light on the earth." And it was so. God made the two great lights, the great light to rule over the day, and the lesser light to rule over the night, as well as the stars. God placed them in the expanse of the sky to provide light on the earth, to rule the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. Evening came and then morning, the fourth day.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 20 through 31. Then God said, "Let the water be filled with living things, and let the birds fly in the air above the earth." So God created the large animals. He created every living thing that moves in the sea. The sea is filled with these living things. Each one produces more of its own kind. God also made every bird that flies, and each bird produces more of its own kind. God saw that this was good. God blessed them, and he said, "Have many young ones and grow in number. Fill the water with seas, and the birds grow in number on earth." Evening passed and morning came. This was the fifth day. Then God said, "Let the earth be filled with animals, and let each produce more of its own kind. Let there be tame animals, small crawling animals, and wild animals, and let them produce more of its own kind." And it happened. So God made the wild animals, the tame animals, and the small crawling animals to produce more of their own kind. God saw that this was good. Then God said, "Let us make human beings in our own image and likeness, and let them rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, Let them rule over the tame animals all over the earth and over the small crawling animals on the earth. So God created human beings in his image. The image of God, he created them. He created them male and female. God blessed them and said, "Have many children and grow in number. Fill the earth and be its master. Rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky. Rule over every little thing that moves on the earth." God said, "Look, I have given you all the plants and given you all the grains for seeds. And I have given you the trees with fruits and seeds in them. Then the fruits will be for you. I have given you all the green plants to all the animals to eat. They will be food for every wild animal, every bird in the air, every small crawling animal." And it happened. God looked at everything that he made. It was very good. Evening passed and the morning came. This was the 6th day.
Oh, thanks, guys. That was awesome. See, every museum has a beginning. The Smithsonian traces its beginning all the way back to James Smithson, who left his entire fortune to start the Smithsonian Museums. It was a grand and generous gift, but it pales in comparison to what God gave you and me. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God said, "Let there be waters and land," and they separated. Without gold or money, he brought forth everything on this planet. The trees, the grass, the flowers, the insects, the animals, the birds, the fish, and everything. Then God created a man and a woman to take care of all of his creation. You see, God is the founder. He is the creator of everything that lives on earth, including you and me. God made a world full of beauty and wonder to show us that he loves us. There are some people today who don't think God had any part of creation. To them, the world is a result of just random chance. We are a 1 in a billion planet that just happened to create people and plants and ocean and fish and animals. But there are others, like me, who don't buy the whole accident story. I see evidence in nature and the way you and I are created, that there has to be a creator at work. It can't be by chance that we came here. It's not random that we live in a world that is so perfectly balanced, that everything works together. It's perfect and flawless. That can't happen by chance. Someone had to make plants to give you and me oxygen and take in the carbon dioxide that we breathe out. Someone had to create the creatures and the plants that complement one another. Someone had to give you and me the ability to react and to think and to reason. You see, the Bible is not a book of science, but a book of history. And in its introduction in Genesis 1, like we read, God created the world, everything in it, for us. And we can see God's handiwork everywhere in creation. We can see his beauty in the flowers, in the sunshine, in the rain, in the rainbows, and even in the thunderstorms. The world around us is a gift that God gave us. And it says to you and me, I love you. You see, God is the founder of the world. He made you and me and the world and everything around us. And he did that because he loves you and he loves me. So, as we continue this series for the next few weeks, this is the foundation we are going to build on. We are going to build on the foundation that God created the world and everything in it because he loves us. All right? I will see you next week.